Video number 2 for the venture number 1, codename On-Ramp, which is about driving traffic. This one I'm actually going to talk you through some of the particular techniques for driving traffic and why it's so important. First off, traffic. Well, there's an old saying, location, location, location. It's a real estate saying. And that was about driving traffic. People wanted the place with the best location so that people walking by would want to buy their products. And how important is driving traffic to both the online and offline worlds? Well, you don't have to look, you can look as far back as you want and see that fur traders always placed themselves along the popular routes of travel for people so that they made sure that they hit the traffic as it went by. They could trade their fur. They placed their stands, their fur trading operations between towns, so people traveling between towns would want to get it. They placed them in areas where they knew that their particular niche, people who would want fur, would be. I just saw a thing the other night in America, the Story of Us, on the History Channel, that Abraham Lincoln traveled down the Mississippi to sell his vegetables and stuff on the frontier, and he went to where the people were. He knew that the traffic was going to, here he is in a cabin out in the middle of nowhere, being a pioneer, trying to settle an unsettled part of the country. Nobody was going to be walking by his cabin and go, oh my goodness, those are some good looking beets, I'll have a couple of those. He had to go to them. So they would take these flatboats and travel down the Mississippi and get them to the bottom of the Mississippi and then dump those flatboats and walk 800 miles back and start the process all over again. They went to where the traffic was. How important is it today? Well, in the cottage industry, it was key. Before we had the big boxes and before radio and web and TV and telephone and email, it was all about placing your store in high traffic areas. So people walking by would want to buy from you, because if they never walked by your store, it was very rare that they knew you existed unless they used word of mouth. There was no such thing as advertising. Then along came the ability to advertise, and that helped drive traffic to your store. But it was still about the fact that people actually had to be physically in your store to be able to buy your product. So you still had to get them to your store. Again, all about driving traffic, getting feet in the door, and they call it foot traffic. There's a whole science out there. You can buy research studies and get traffic counts. So those little ropes that are stretched across the road attached to a lockbox, and you roll over them and they're clicking off the number of people that go through a particular area. Or you'll see the people sitting on the side of an intersection with a clipboard and a video camera. They're actually working for governmental groups and other private groups, counting the number of people that show up at a street corner. Because as a businessman, if I'm going to open a shop, I want to know the traffic count for that corner. Are enough people going by that corner to warrant me opening a shop there? Because again, that's the easiest way to get traffic. I don't have to spend money to advertise. If they walk by my shop, I didn't spend a dime, and they may actually walk in. So today you see the phenomenon of big box anchoring. People realized that Best Buy had such a great name that others would travel so far. They'd travel 30, 40 minutes just to go to a Best Buy store, especially with the rewards programs, which is another way to get traffic, is to create a loyalty. That they started co-locating. And so you'll notice that Best Buy and Linens and Things and Target and TJ Maxx, they're all located primarily together nowadays in these open area shopping centers. And the thought is that if Best Buy's there, people are going to spend a day to drive to Best Buy. They probably might as well just call it a day and spend all their shopping. So there's going to need to be a sporting goods store as well. You got electronics, you got sporting goods. How about a clothing store? Oh, you know what? They always want to buy things for their home, like for their kitchen and their bathroom. So a Bed Bath & Beyond or Linens and Things would be a great idea. Then of course a Target. So now they started working together so that when their traffic is for one store, the traffic is actually seeing all of them. And then the mom and pops got really smart. Actually, the shopping center developers got smart and offered to the mom and pops to locate their little boutique jewelry store right between a Best Buy and a Target. So when you're walking between Best Buy and Target, you see this little boutique mom and pop jewelry store, you stop in, artificial traffic. You didn't do a thing. You used the brand name of Best Buy and Target to drive the traffic to your store. You'll see there's a science behind driving traffic for shopping or for gas stations and grocery stores. Typically grocery stores. Did a study for one in college one time. They wanted to be on the right side of the road to all the people heading home from work. They were located in a little satellite community north of a big city, so they knew that at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the evening. That's when people would want to pick up their groceries, not on the way to work, on the way home. They wanted to be on the right side of the road of a northbound road so that people wouldn't turn left across traffic. And that was their entire strategy, was about making sure they had the right traffic going by at the right time. And you see now even the co-location. Subway co-located with a gas station because they realized that people stop once during a trip to get gas. They don't want to drive a couple more miles to get a sandwich. They'll just pick something up in the gas store. So Subway went to the gas stations and said, let's co-locate. You're going to come get gas. You're going to get a sandwich. We both win. We're going to drive people because they want a Subway, and when they stop, they go, oh, we might as well get gas while we're here, and we're going to win from you because they're going to stop for gas and go, oh my goodness, they've got a Subway. So that's how important traffic is. What about for the web? Well, you are a little teeny guppy in a very big ocean when you have a website on the web. There are millions of websites out there, and there are billions of eyes looking at those websites. And if you have a online web presence and you're trying to promote your business, sell a product, even just promote an idea, and you want eyes on your site, if you don't have a strategy for driving traffic to that site, you might as well be whispering at a rock concert, because I guarantee you, ain't nobody listening. It's just how it is. So you have to make sure that you have some kind of strategy for getting traffic to your site. It's the precursor to sales. Always has been. All the way back to the fur traders. It's about driving traffic. Location, location, location. So what are the three big differences between the web and online or offline? Well, first off, they don't know you exist. Online they may, or offline they may. They may drive by your store a couple times, and one of their buddies may have told them about you. So there's a good chance they know you exist. Online, a real good chance nobody even knows your site exists. Even in a Google search, they may not know your site exists. Just a year ago, when you ran a search for Coach Reed, the first 2 pages were dominated by plugs for my site. Things about me, my Facebook, my Twitter account, et cetera, et cetera. It's been only a year. And now the first 2 pages are dominated by all these other Coach Reeds that are out there. Now, it's not arrogance, but it is an understanding that it was a keyword search that came up. And so other people with the same name said, wow, I'm going to capitalize on the keyword search. I was the first one there, but other people figured out I was getting a lot of hits, and so they went with it. And that's just the way it is. So make sure that people know you exist. 2, they will leave immediately. If you don't give them a reason to stay on your site, we have very short attention spans now. Attention spans of a gnat. If you don't give people a reason to stay on your site, if you don't connect to them personally, and the Coach Reed brand is one I've been working on for 20 years, and again, it's just, I'm dancing with what brung me. I'm playing the hand I was dealt. That personality works as a coach, and I've figured out that it works for driving traffic to my site. So I keep that because people stay for the Coach Reed experience. They don't stay because they think the site's cool looking. Okay, they stay for what I'm saying or what I'm about or what I represent or just that personality. And then 3 is they'll never come back. You're not the store next door. You're not the store down the street. People drive by every day and say, oh, hey, there's a... And I meant to stop in there. Oh yeah, the hardware store. They're never going to come back. They leave your site. They won't find you in a Google search. They'll find something bigger and better. Their attention spans moved on. Your history. So those are the 3 big differences between offline. And the final one that you have to be very careful about is target your niche very well. Because what we tend to do is we throw out as much marketing as we can, as many keywords as we can, and as much dissemination of information about our site as we can, and we drive eyes. But my site's about youth sport coaching. So if I've got people who build Harleys from scratch showing up at my site because I was posting in their forums, I've made them mad. I've wasted their time, and I've wasted a perfectly good strategy on my part. Go after your niche. I'd never put a clothing store between a funeral home and a nursing home, which I saw the other day. I saw a funeral home in front of a nursing home and went, wow, talk about co-locating. I would never do that because while I may get a few grandparents who are buying for their kids, it's not the demographic. I'm going to put it next to a Toys R Us or near a laser tag place or buy a kids gym or daycare, big box daycare center. Places where kids and parents are always going. That's my niche, not the grandparents.